accountant with them in tow so that they are sort of a part of the whole thing. This is also sort of an important idea to just decide that there's not really one way to budget. I know there's so much information out there, and there's so many really wonderful books and resources, and there's tons of information online, and I really recommend that you dig around and kind of look into different ideas, but don't get hung up on the idea that there's really one correct way to budget, and if you could only get that one way, that one mysterious way under your belt, everything would be okay. Just go forward with what feels comfortable. If this particular budget sheet that's included in your package looks manageable, it looks like a doable way to start, go for it. Just accept this one, take it on, and begin with this. And as you're moving forward, you might find that there's a category that you want to add for your particular family or something that you're not using, so you'll sort of scratch it off, and you'll discover that as you're moving along. But the basic idea is just to sort of keep moving in the direction. It's a hard habit to form because there are some unpleasant hurdles that are in the way, like saying no to stuff that looks nice and tempting and wonderful and gives us immediate gratification. And there's tons of it out there, and the sellers really want you to be tempted by it. Now is the time, because we are in a recession. They want to generate the sales. So there's lots of tasty treats out there for us all to be tempted by. We'll talk about techniques for that as well. And the other idea is to basically give yourself credit and pat yourself on the back with each new small or large victory that you have in this arena. Whether it's paying off a small bill that's been hanging over your head, paying off one of your credit cards, paying that down to zero, getting a new customer if it's within your business, getting a job interview, whatever your small thing is, saving a couple bucks at the end of the week on your grocery bill. Give yourself credit and celebrate each little victory as you go along, because oftentimes with budgeting, I think that we don't give ourselves enough credit for the small things, because it does take time to put in place the stepping stones for the budget, and I think it can get discouraging, especially if it's something new. Having said that, again, I really think this is the perfect time to talk about budgeting, because I think across the board, we're all doing it, and we're all inundated with the idea of budgeting, and we hear about it on the radio, we hear about it on the news at night, ways to save here and ways to save there. So it's really a great atmosphere for putting together a budget. The sheet that is in your handout is really a great basic starting point. There are some other there's some websites that I have listed, and I don't know if you guys see, the title of the sheet is Rachel's PowerPoints at the top. And at the bottom, I refer to a couple of different resources. The first one listed there is betterbudgeting.com. I definitely recommend you go to that site. They have lots of different budget sheets for all sorts of different things, monthly budgets, weekly budgets, so you might be able to find something that suits you. I think a really great first place to start is to jot down your daily spending on a calendar. Perhaps you have a kitchen calendar that you have hung, or even in a journal if you keep a journal, or just a daily notepad maybe that you keep on your bedside table, so at the end of the day you could just write down grocery, $27.13. This is nothing that you can't go back and look at your bank statement for, but it's kind of helpful to get into a daily habit of record keeping. So then you can also do this with your gasoline consumption. You're not going to do it on the day that you pay the mortgage. This is something that you already know. What's really helpful is to see sort of where the money kind of just escapes to on a daily basis. How much money did you spend? How much money did you spend at Target that you really didn't need to in any way, shape, or form? Did you go there for one thing and you ended up with a bunch? Make a list. I'm sure the grocery shopper person is going to say, make a list and stick with your list, and this is going to be awesome. Cardtrack.com is another website. This is really a good opportunity for sort of entering in your card information on your credit cards, punching in your interest, punching in your monthly payment, and seeing how long is it going to take you to pay off this credit card. And then you're able to sort of prioritize how long you want to be. Do you want to pay a little bit more towards that credit card? I'll definitely answer some more questions through Rebecca as we move along with that. Bankrate.com is great for sort of researching what credit cards are out there and which ones are better than others. Annualcreditreport.com is fantastic to get your credit reports and sort of have a basic idea of where you stand right now as far as what other people see as far as your credit worthiness. especially now in this climate, as Paul mentioned, that's getting tighter with the credit crunch. Susie Orman wrote a fantastic book before this book called Women and Money, and I really highly recommend it. It's a very readable book, and it really addresses specifically women's needs and habits with regards to money. She really takes us through stuff that I think is very pertinent for a woman's financial habits and needs. And last on my list, I have a great book called America's Cheapest Family, that's written by the Economides family. She's a stay-at-home mom. I think that they have 5 children, and it's full of just practical tips on how to run a tighter financial household. Again, I'll take lots of questions to Rebecca if people have them, and I'll just finish by saying I think it's an opportunity. I think we're really going through an opportunity, so it's not quite so scary all the time. Thank you.